Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. In other words, my purpose on this earth, God put me on this earth to remind you, individuals, human beings, basic rights as human beings on this earth. I'm here because God decided 70 some odd years ago that He need me here this day to tell you this, because Americans have acted like they lost their minds. You've always been absent, but it had something to indicate that maybe you had a mind at one time. And now you are taking the actions to indicate that anything that you had close to a mind is gone. Now, what am I saying to you today? I'm saying to you today that God wants you to know that America has lost its God standing. Let me say that again. America has lost its God standing. Every little decent thing that seems to have been established here while America has been established, that you had some people in there who had an understanding of God, who tried to show some God in this community, in this society, in this life. It seems like it's all gone. The generals that tried to keep people like Donald Trump in line the last time he was president, they all gone. The people who are in were in power to help in the government of the United States of America, who had some decency about them, have all been fired. So that is gone. And others just don't want to work. They just quit. Now, let me say to you, ladies and gentlemen, God is love. Is there any love in America? You want to say yes, but the love that you in America have for Americans, and you can't even weigh in a teaspoon. You have acted just like you lost your mind. It would be easy for someone to call each American a low down, dirty MF. You are as lost as it could possibly be. Tell me, how in the hell can you call America a nation of laws? America's a I'm going to tell you the truth. You get mad with it if you want to. America is bullshit. Bullshit, especially under Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is bullshit. There's nothing decent about Donald Trump as a president of the United States. He has no idea about what God is. He thinks God is what he wants. And that's it. But let me ask you this. Every day, people are committing crime. People are breaking the law. People, my friends, are going through the process that they're supposed to go through. Many of them are going to court. Some of them have been found innocent and released. Others have been found guilty and going to prison every day. I want to know, how can you do it? How can you send? I'm not saying they didn't break the law. You adjudicated them. You determined that they broke the law. But how can you send them to jail? I want to know, how in the hell can you send these people to jail when the president of the United States, one of the biggest crooks in this country, spoken of as a crook, he knows he's a crook. And he tells you that he's a crook because he had to be smarter than you and didn't take much. All he had to be bold, all he had to do was to be bold enough to ignore you, and he'd get away with it. And every day people are going to prison. And this crook walking around in this country, tearing this country apart, just tearing it down any way you want. You can't accomplish that blasted thing because you spend the whole presidency tearing down stuff. Tearing down today, tearing down tomorrow, tearing down. What have you done since you've been in presidency this time? And this is a fake presidency. This presidency is not authentic. This is not a legitimate president. This is outside the Constitution of the United States. This is the American people putting this crook in power because they are crooks. Yeah, you go to church, you tell yourself you love God, you're a lie. You don't love God. You'd be dead if you love God before this shit happened and continued. Ain't that what Jesus did? What did Jesus say? I am the way. I am the truth. I am the light. None of this bull stuff that these other people tell you. Republicans ain't got no answers. Democrats got no answers. Black man got no answers. White man got no answers. Men ain't got no answers. Women ain't got no answers. Ain't nobody got no answer but the one who made it. And that's God. And every last one, if you turn your back on God, you'll do everything that keep on walking around in your bodies. You can have cancer. You can have TB. You can have any kind of sickness, any kind of disease. And somebody said, well, if you're going through all this pain and if you're going to die, why don't you institute euthanasia so you can just take a pill or aspirin and just slide on out of your midst of this pain? And you would go, I mean, the people hate you so much, they will piss a bitch in hell if you try to have euthanasia. Why? Because they want to hang on as long as they possibly can. Why? Because they're demons. They are demonic. Anybody that really had in connection with God would not choose America or Putin or anywhere on this earth where people are suffering. Because if they chose it, they come here for one purpose. And that's what? To expose the lack of God in this world. That's what they come to do. Not to come in trying to find a seat, see where their place is so they can ride. And what are you doing? Eating, riding in a car, seeing a movie, have a little sex, and start it all over again. While you're watching people that you are robbing just so you can do that, and they can do nothing. And now you're talking about continuously telling the universities to shut down the dumbest man in this country. As far as we can see, the dumbest man in this country. And I know you don't want to hear that. I don't want to see you running this country. It tears me up every day I see the pain and suffering that you're causing. It tears me up every day I see people going through these kinds of changes and talking about God, have no knowledge of God whatsoever. God made righteousness. Where is it? I mean, I can't talk to you like Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is fantastic. I'm not fantastic. I'm just a man that's tired of the stupidity. Tired of the stupidity. And you fight each other. You fight each other. And the problem still exists. None of you talk about how can we fix this problem. You had some Republicans and Democrats, I think, about a few months ago, talking about fixing something at the border. Well, they couldn't fix it, but they came up with something they agreed on. Well, let's do this. And the man who talking about in charge, knowing what he can do, told him, put that stuff down. I don't want the world to know it because they might think they might not need me. They might not let me in. Let me say to the people that follow Donald Trump, I'm going to tell you something. Now, I know you think you got it going on. You think you're so smart as a crying shame. I know you're saying that I am acting like I think I am so smart. I am not that smart, but I'm smart enough to know the difference between right and wrong. I'm smart enough to know the difference if there's a God and a Satan, they are different. And the one is good, the other one must be hell. I'm smart enough to know that. And I'm smart enough to know that if I don't want pain and suffering, you might not either. I'm smart enough to know that if I want to live on this earth in this body and be happy, contented, and satisfied, you might want to as well. I know that in order for man to be fed, my hunger has to be dealt with. My education or lack thereof must be dealt with. My health or the lack thereof must be dealt with. I know these things. It is these being dealt with in such a way that you're not dealing with them every day, facing them every day. Yeah, I know that. So this is what I believe that you are familiar with as well. And given the freedom that these would be your choice. I'm not talking about the indoctrination. I'm not talking about the program. I'm saying given the freedom, these would be your choices as well. But if you've been hit side the head, if you've been blindsided, what can you do? Ladies and gentlemen, we realize that you speak one language, most of you. That was the language you were taught. The evil that goes on in this world, in our society, in America, is what we have been taught to accept. It is evil nonetheless, but we have been taught that it's the best in the world. Even now, we're finding out our education system is way beneath that of other countries. Our compassion for one another way beneath that of other countries, and yet we are told every day, and you will recite it, that we're the greatest nation on the face of the earth. That's the biggest lie America ever told, and that's the biggest lie America ever believed if they did. Why am I telling you this? Because God wants you to know it, and I'm here to tell it to you. Well, I also know that the evil people on this earth don't want the truth out. I do know that it is the duty and responsibility of ugliness and evil and cruel and compassionlessness. It is the duty of those who want to be God and listen to no one will do what they want to do. And what they want to do is to promote their bull and destroy anything that's not. So I do know that when I come in and tell you that the people are robbing you, and you know it, you know people are robbing you, but you don't know the truth. Let me just say it to you this way. God gave you your heaven. All you had to do was maintain it. And there is no heaven when you've lost your life. There is no heaven where you are a slave. And anybody that's living on this earth around people who are going through changes, real negative changes, whether it's you or not, it doesn't make a difference. You're in a pit of hell. If others are going through it, you have the responsibility of ending it. And anybody that stands for it, they don't know. You can't tell an American and go up to and speak in Japanese and expect him to respond to you in the proper way. If he knew what you was talking about, he might do the right thing. But somebody got to show him what the right thing is. So right now, human beings want to do one thing, and that's to keep on living in these bodies. They don't know nothing else. That's all they want. Keep on living in these bodies. They don't care. They'll go pick up guns and go kill or be killed, but they still want to live in these bodies forever. Forever. Can you believe that? You rotten. You remember how lovely you used to be? You look in the mirror. Don't you want to run and hide? And you want to live here forever? You say Methuselah lived 900 some odd years. What do you think he went through? You want to tell yourself he was good looking. Go look in the mirror again if you think that is true. My point, ladies and gentlemen, is this. I want to I wish I could laugh at you, but I can't. Because if you make it, that means my life was not in vain. If you don't, the question becomes, could I have done more? Could I have really done more? And they tell me that there was a man on the cross who says, if you live on this earth in these bodies and you do no wrong, and you do no wrong, as far as they are concerned, the people of the world, the government of the world, the thought of the world, the philosophy of the world, and that of those who call themselves speaking for God, and you walk the righteous way, all of them together will put you on a cross or a tree or in a ditch or with a rope around your neck or a bullet in your head, making sure they get rid of you because they are snakes. And that right down, I think you said snakes. Ladies and gentlemen, Let us wake up. Let us wake up. Now, we can't just wake up like that unless a miracle happens. And they do happen. But for the most part, I know that this stuff, the sickness is so ingrained, it unless a miracle occurs, it's going to take a bit of time. In other words, you're going to get a chance to see the ugliness that you represent. Now, as I close, let me put back in your mind the many citizens, some innocent, some guilty, being locked up in these prisons, while the head of this country that you have chosen is talking about sending anybody that says something about him that he didn't like and he get wind of it. That's why you go shut up. You're not gonna say anything. Because you know if he hears of it, he might send you to a foreign country and lock you up and nobody ever know anything about you again. And you will choose to live in a government system like that, as far from God as you can possibly get. If you knew God, you'd be rushing. They come and get you, or you tired of this shit. Goodbye.